I think that there is so much value in the things that Amber has said, and honestly this entire court proceeding, but not for the reasons you might think. What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. As you can tell, I'm going to be doing a deep dive on body language, on Amber and cross-examination. I'm gonna go over all of her lies. I'm gonna go over what will happen if she loses, why I think she should lose, court strategies and the failures of her legal team, and some psychology tricks that you might have missed. If you guys are new here, hi, my name is Jess. I'm a person in long-term recovery who has been to prison, who now has a bachelor's degree in correctional program support services with an under in psychology. Whew, that's a lot to say. I know, I should have been a lawyer instead of going to prison. Moving on, if you guys want to follow me on any other social media platform, TikTok, Instagram, Patreon, that's $2. It's only ever going to be $2. All of that is linked down below, as well as my vlog channel and my podcast. But we have a lot to get into today, so let's kick this thing off. I love body language and psychology and court proceedings and good arguments and good debates and maybe a little bit of drama and some tea, and this has everything. But as a lot of people point out online these days, this is an actual defamation trial that outlines violence and abuse and drug addiction and domestic violence. I mean, it is a very real, very emotional case. So yes, I am fascinated by it, but it does not escape me that we are talking about a lot of really heavy, really hard topics. Having said that, let's get into this. I'm gonna put timestamps up right here. I'm going to briefly mention this Vogue article that was posted on May 17th. I really wanna know how much money Amber paid for this opinion piece in Vogue. It basically says that this is a witch hunt and Johnny Depp is no saint, so we have to believe Amber. No, we know Johnny is no saint. He's a human being who has admitted to his faults and his substance use disorder, and for all intents and purposes, seems like a very genuine, sincere person who was abused by Amber. And for years and years, he was silenced. Just like I said in my last video, this is his moment to really share what he went through. I think the world needs to listen. I think this is an important moment for people to realize that men can be victims of domestic violence too, because so often we see it the other way. I think this case has a lot of value, even beyond the decision that we're going to get next week. So I'm filming this on Saturday, May 21st. It's gonna go up tomorrow, May 22nd. I think it offers a lot of insight on what it really looks like to be with someone like Amber. What are those red flags in the beginning? That's an important conversation. Men also are victims of domestic violence. That's an important conversation. Camila Vasquez is killing it and giving a lot of young girls hope. This entire trial, just on the way that Amber's attorneys have handled this case, that portion should be shown to law students as to what not to do in court, but we're gonna get into it. Also, boycott Vogue. Okay, so let's start with body language, and there is so much to dissect here. Body language analysis is not like an end-all be-all, like, aha, you're lying because you look to the left. No, and I'm also not an expert on body language. I just study this for fun, and there's a lot of things that I noticed. So that's what we're gonna talk about for a little while. I'm gonna show you a couple of clips, and then we're gonna talk about it.
Get up and wash my face, like most of us, and I put on right away a moisturizer that has tinted foundation in it, and then I put another foundation on because it has sunblock in it. I have a skin condition that my skin reacts to the sun in a bad way, so I have to wear sunscreen or sunblock, and no woman wants to walk around with a bruise on her face. And then if you want to cover up a bruise, you obviously put foundation first, concealer, and then on top of that, I used a bruise kit. Not a bruise kit, it's a theater makeup kit, a color correction kit, but I called it my bruise kit. Yeah, this is what I was talking about as a color correction kit. This is not obviously the exact one I used to carry, but I used to carry it with me all the time. Sometimes this pink is sometimes a little bit more purple of a hue, and sometimes the kits are 3 colors. You can get them in 3 or 4 colors. Sometimes they have.
So this is not in cross-examination yet, but I think it's really important. So there are a lot of red flags in what she is saying. In body language analysis or behavioral analysis, all of the facial expressions and the movements and everything that she's doing, it's called cluster of deception. So if I said to you, my skin reacts to... If I said to you, I can't say this without laughing, oh my God, it's so ridiculous. But let's start with the words. Most people, when they're talking about a skin condition or a illness or something that they have, typically they would be like, I have rosacea. You know, you wouldn't say like, I have a skin condition that makes my skin have red rash, it's swollen and puffy, and you wouldn't start describing rosacea, you would just say, I have rosacea, right? So like off the bat, like the words are odd, you would just say, I have rosacea if you had rosacea. So for her to say, I have to wear sunblock, my skin reacts to the sun in a bad way, I have a skin condition, like, you mean you get sunburnt? When she is saying my skin reacts to the sun in a bad way, the tone of her voice kind of drops, and then she goes into this mumbling, like muttering, like quickly speaking, rapid blinking motion where she's like, I have a skin condition, my skin reacts to the sun in a bad way. It's because physically her body does not want to lie, and her brain has to catch up to the lie. So if one of those things happened at once, it wouldn't be a big deal, it wouldn't be a red flag. If I said to you, I have a skin condition, I have rosacea, you know, like one thing where like I look down a little bit, or maybe I sigh or take a deep breath, or if there was one of those motions, it wouldn't be a big deal. A cluster of deception specifically is all of those things combined, you know, the head movements, the tone of voice, shifting in her seat, blinking rapidly, the deep breath, the mumbling, and her voice goes, like, it's a lot of those things, and that's what you see here. It just makes no sense to lie about something like that. And there's so many moments like that where she loses credibility with the jury because she's like, I have a skin condition, my skin reacts to the sun in a bad way. You see it on her face. You see that, like, dude, do you mean that you get sunburnt? Like, why wouldn't you just say that? She's obviously uncomfortable with what she's saying, and her brain is trying to play catch up, so to speak. When Amber said that she uses a bruise kit to cover up the bruises, TikTok went crazy.
Queen, did you mean this theater makeup bruise kit? It's literally called Bruise and Abrasions. It's for theater, and it's meant to make bruises, sweet girl. You mean this one? It's meant to make fake bruises? Is that what you meant? Give me 1 second. I'll show you what I mean. See? Bruise kit. Bruise kit, queen. This one? Where you make the bruises? Oh, this one? Theatrical bruise kit? You knew exactly what you were saying, honey. You knew you weren't covering up anything. You were making something. We all know. We all know.
Bruise kit? You mean like a theater kit? Oh, you said that too. Okay, so not a color correcting kit to hide bruises. You had a bruise kit, theater kit. You said that. You said bruise kit and theater kit, and you would create bruises. Even when she is discussing how she would cover up, bruh, you made them, but okay. As she's describing the order in which she covers up bruises, she literally says, well, obviously you'd start with foundation and then concealer and then a bruise kit. I mean, theater kit. I mean, concealer, color correcting. Anybody that does makeup knows first you wash your face, then moisturizer, then you color correct, then you put on foundation, then you put on concealer. You don't put anything on top of that. The words that she uses are really important, as well as the way that she is moving. So she says, obviously, if you want to cover up a bruise, you obviously do this, which is, girl, you just described how to create a bruise, right? But she says obviously in moments where that shit's not obvious, dude. If I'm sitting in court and someone said, Jess, what color is your hair? I would say my hair is obviously brown, because it's something that we all know, we can all reference. It's just weird the way that she talks, you know? It's almost like she wants to say, like, obviously, like, everyone knows this. How could you not know that this is how you cover up bruises? Well, you just described how you made bruises, so let's try to practice our script a little bit better. But throughout that, you can see, again, going back to the cluster deception, her mouth, the way that she moves her mouth, the rapid blinking, the shoulders. Now, if she blinked a lot, and that was just kind of who she is, like, maybe you're wearing lashes, which she's not, but let's just say, for example, she's wearing lashes, maybe they're bothering her on, like, one of the days. She might blink a lot, you know, if lashes that she was wearing were bothering her. Okay, but that's not the case here, because she goes long durations of time where she's barely moving. We see that in cross-examination. You also see Amber in cross-examination ask several times, I'm sorry, what was your question? I'm not sure, can you ask again? What's the question? She's doing this to buy time. She's doing this, she knows what the question was, but she's doing this so that she can buy time, so that her brain can catch up and formulate the lie and then deliver the lie.
I told this jury that on this occasion, Mr. Depp was kneeling on your back.
That's correct, in the closet.
And you also told this jury that you wore a backless dress to the Mordecai premiere that very same night.
I did.
You didn't show this jury a picture of you in that backless dress, though, did you?
I don't know what you mean, I'm sorry.
You didn't show this jury a picture of you at the Mordecai premiere wearing a backless dress, did you?
I haven't had the opportunity to.
Okay.
I assume you have it?
I do. Let's please pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 1256. This is a picture of you and Mr. Depp, or the back of you. This is you in the backless dress at the Mordecai premiere in Tokyo, right?
That is correct.
You would agree that there are no bruises or visible marks on your back in this picture?
No, not that I could see.
So that's Amber trying to buy time. What do you mean? What do you mean I wore a backless dress? Oh, I'm assuming that you have that picture. It's a pathetic attempt to seem innocent, you know, and for her to ask Camille to repeat a question that is very simple. You wore a backless dress, right? She's trying to think of what to say. She even like looks over at her attorneys for a second like, hey, can you help me? And then there's like this very weird like sneeze or cough in the courtroom and Amber goes to look over at it because she is going to be caught in a lie. She knows what this picture is. She knows there's no marks on her back. She knows that she's about to kind of walk the line with this lie and she's going to have to figure out a clever way to get past it, right? Like, can't put makeup on your back and there's no bruise on your back, right? Like, it's very strange. Why would you wear a backless dress and then say that you were stomped on by a man bigger than you, probably wearing boots, right? Does he wear boots? Okay, cool, moving on. She knows she's about to be in a tough situation. So when someone's environment changes and they're lying, something as simple as like a dog barking or a doorbell or something that changes in the environment, the person that is lying is going to direct their full attention to whatever tiny little detail has changed because it takes focus off of what they're saying. And you see that there. But what's crazy is this is not the first time this has happened. She has all of this evidence of like, oh, you said your nose was broken in this picture and your lip was busted. Amber is very calm, not rapidly blinking. When Camille goes, did you say that? Then she goes, yes, that's correct. Because it's not a lie, technically. The statement was, did you say this, that your nose is broken? So it's very easy for Amber to kind of just be stoic in a sense and just, yes, that's correct. Look at the jury like she's doing for confirmation the entire time. Yes, that's correct. That's correct. What's weird about that too is when Camille is talking, before she even gets a question out, Amber is already looking at the jury. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because she's just like, I want to get this over with. Let me look for confirmation and make sure I'm doing a good job. Let me try to talk to them. It's not the same dynamic as when Johnny was in cross-examination. Johnny would look up at, you know, the lawyer Rottenborn, which, why is that his name? Get a better name, dude. It was like a conversation that Johnny was having with him. It was very like, a mega pint, you know, like it was very, I'm having a conversation with this person. You see it very differently with Ms. Vasquez, the queen of everything, and Amber. Amber is dismissive of her and just quickly going to look at the jury. I don't know if it's to like just get the question over with. It just seemed very weird, very disrespectful. But in moments of cross-examination where Amber can just confirm to something that she said, like, did you say this? Did you say your nose was broken here? And she goes, yes, that's correct. Well, this is a picture of you the next day and you look absolutely beautiful and there's no red marks. Like, really? This is you? This is a picture of you? Your nose is broken? Then she goes, that's absolutely what I thought. You know, not like I misspoke. I thought that it was broken. No, I absolutely, like affirmative, like I definitely 1000%, yep, that absolutely is what I thought. Like, girl, her body language is pretty good in moments where we know that she's lying, right? Like when People magazine got these pictures of her, she said things like, I did not personally give People magazine these pictures, which means like I didn't physically hand this picture to an employee at People. No, she had someone else do that, right? Which is the reason why she moseyed into court with her publicist. Okay, bye. It's the reason why she took the picture in the first place at court, so that she could give the picture to her publicist and her publicist could then physically give it to People magazine. So she's not lying, technically, you know, like I did not personally physically walk myself down there and hand it to an employee. You know what I'm saying? Like I did not personally do it. We know what you meant. Almost every single time that there is an objection and Amber has to stop, when she can go on with her testimony, she picks up almost exactly where she left off. I saw someone say this on TikTok that it literally looks like someone just yelled cut and she picked up with her lines. Most people, when there's a pause like that, objection, leading, objection, hearsay, which Amber's lawyers don't seem to know the court rules, we're gonna get there. Usually you're like, okay, what was the question? Because we've just kind of argued whether or not I can answer it. Where do I leave off? It takes you a second. You wouldn't pick up with the exact same line in the exact same way. And during moments of objection, this is another big red flag to me when I'm looking at her body language, where the emotion that she has a minute ago, where she's talking about literally anything, if she's telling something with emotion and you hear objection, that expression and those emotions kind of fade from her face. You know, she's kind of like, here, let's look at like a little clip of like what that looks like.
I don't want to be here. I didn't want to be there then. And I was trying to point out something to somebody who I thought did not have a firm grasp on reality.
Objection calls for speculation.
Overruled. Good.
Thank you. I was trying to point out how absurd it would be.
So she like licks her lips and then boom, right back into character, right where she left off. Where Amber loses a lot of credibility is where she can't remember the timeline of these events. In opening statements, Amber says, "I will never forget, it changed my life." Then in cross-examination, when she can't remember the timeline of when this alleged abuse started, she goes, "My memory doesn't work that way." Well, it can't be both. You can't say, "I'll never forget it changed my life," also my memory doesn't work that way when you're asked specific questions. Which it's also important to note that she does not give specifics to the actual trauma in details that would even really make sense. Amber can remember the dirty carpet, mashed potatoes, her dog stepping on a bee, vintage jars of cocaine, birds, but she can't remember when the trauma started, when the abuse started, when she first started getting hit. If you are madly in love with somebody and they hit you and you get into a fight and they hit you, you're not gonna forget that day. You're gonna remember, I woke up and I made coffee, it was a normal day. You know, I was going through my routine, I made food, we got into an argument, and bam, he hit me. And I remember just being shocked, and I just stood there and I was shocked. You would start to say the things that happened, and you would say them in order of importance. You'd start off at the beginning details of that. Like, I woke up, it was, you know, like any other day, and I made coffee and I, you know, washed my face or whatever it is, right? Then you'd end with like the most important note. So you would end with like, and he hit me and I stood there shocked. It would be more believable because you would have a direct like order of priorities, right? So it's not just her body language that matters, it's the words that she uses. Camille asks her, "You wanted to seem believable. You wanted to be believed." And instead of Amber saying, "It's true, this is true, it's believable because it's true," she goes, "It is believable." You would just say, "Miss Vasquez, it is believable because it's true." She doesn't say that. She never says it's true. She says it was believable. As in, the story that I'm telling you is believable. Amber also says, "I wanted nothing from Johnny." I mean, except $7 million. And Camille is very feisty, you know?
You wanted nothing? Okay, except for when you were extorting him for $7 million.
If she was a true victim of domestic violence, she would not want to live in the same penthouse as him. She wouldn't want his Range Rover. She would just want to get as far away from him as possible. She wouldn't want to live next door to him. She would leave with nothing, literally not a penny, not a backpack. She would leave with nothing and want nothing from him. She would just want to get away from him. That is what true victims of domestic violence do. They are willing to leave with anything, assume all debt even, like they're willing to do whatever it takes to get away from this person. Well, we don't see patterns of that. We see Amber breaking the restraining order to go see him. We see her wanting his money. And now let's talk about the charity clips because there's so much to dissect. Let's talk about the back and forth and cross-examination a little bit more specifically with Amber and Camille. This shit is crazy. So let's watch a couple of these clips.
And you say this because you, quote, wanted nothing, end quote.
That is correct.
But you hadn't donated your entire $7 million settlement to charity at that point, had you?
That's incorrect.
Sitting here today, Ms. Heard, you still haven't donated the $7 million divorce settlement to charity. Isn't that right?
Incorrect. I pledged the entirety of the settlement, $7 million to charity, and I intend to fulfill those obligations.
Ms. Heard, that's not my question. Please,
What was
try
your
to answer
question?
my question. Sitting here today, you have not donated the $7 million donated, not pledged, donated the $7 million divorce settlement to charity?
I use pledge and donation synonymous with one another.
But I don't. Ms. Heard, I don't use it synonymously.
That's how donations are paid.
Ms. Heard, respectfully, that's not my question. As of today, you have not paid $3.5 million of your own money to the ACLU. Yes or no?
I have not yet.
And as of today, you have not paid $3.5 million of your own money to the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, correct?
I have not yet. Johnny sued me.
So as of today, you have not paid $7 million of your divorce settlement to charity, right?
I have not been able to fulfill those obligations yet.
And that's because you did want something, didn't you?
I didn't want anything and I didn't get anything.
You wanted Mr. Depp's money.
She knows that these videos are out there. She knows that they're gonna bring this up where I said, I donated this money. Look at me, I donated all $7 million, I paid 3.5. No, she knows those videos are coming, so she can't outright say, I did not get to it yet. Instead, she chooses to go back and forth and seem confrontational, and she is so shitty. She says, I use pledge and donate synonymously. And it's this very argumentative back and forth. It would have been so much better for Amber to say, I have not been able to meet that obligation yet, but I intend to do so. And without knowing when that show would be aired, I thought at the time that I was going to be able to pay both of the charities in full, right? Like it would have made more sense. It would have seemed more believable and more genuine. Instead, she goes on this freaking bickering match that I'm going to use for the rest of my life. Like, oh, you wanted the mortgage payment? Sorry, like I pledged the mortgage payment. I use pledged and paid synonymously, so we're good, right? Like, hey Jess, I really missed you at the barbecue. How come you didn't come to the barbecue? Oh, I'm sorry, I have a skin condition. My skin reacts to the sun in a bad way. Like I'm gonna use these excuses forever. I'm an introvert, I don't wanna go, but I don't wanna hurt your feelings. So I'm just gonna be like, I have a skin condition. My skin reacts to the sun. Bitch, same, because we have human skin. What are you saying? She contradicts herself so many times, sometimes even in the same sentence. So if one thing is a lie, then all of it is a lie. One of my favorite moments though is when Camille shows a clip from the UK in like 2016 where Amber talks about, let's just watch it. Let's just watch.
When I say reach, I'm specifically saying I would like him to know information coming from me or coming from Jerry, from me, so that he finds out about the divorce filing or my intention to do so from some other source other than TMZ, which was alerted.
You slipped up there, didn't you, Miss Heard? You let it slip out that TMZ had been alerted to your filing of the domestic violence restraining order, didn't you?
I disagree. That's not what I'm talking about.
TMZ is the same outlet that you released the video of Mr. Depp attacking the kitchen cabinets the day before this deposition was taken, wasn't it?
I didn't do that. I don't
TMZ
know how
owns
to do that.
the copyright to that video now, doesn't it?
I have no idea what TMZ owns.
Did they pay you for that?
I never got paid for it because I had nothing to do with that.
So TMZ was just lucky in getting the inside scoop to your divorce from Mr. Depp, huh?
I have no idea. That's not my area of expertise. I wouldn't even know how to do that.
When Camille calls her out and says, you slipped up there, didn't you? TMZ was alerted. She does all this shit, right? She covers her mouth, she fixes her face, and then she looks over and she goes, help me, I just messed up. And of course, Johnny's lawyer is all on top of it. I mean, she is like a freaking laser, dude. She's not missing anything. And when she clearly says, you messed up there, right? Because TMZ was alerted, she goes like this. It is so dramatic. She covers her mouth, fixes her hair, stops talking, looks for help to whoever's in the room that can help her because she realized she just messed up. And when she is called out on that, she sticks with the lie. Like, whew, I mean, you could commit felonies with her probably. She probably won't fold under questioning, but like everything in her changes, right? She realizes how badly she just messed up. And that's called like mouth blocking. So kids do this, like, oh, like I said a bad word, oh no, or, you know, whatever. As you get better at lying in the adult world, we might, you know, quickly, like we might cover our mouth in a very sly way. We are not going to cover our whole face like that, which is crazy that she did that. Clearly a lie, clearly planted by her. Also, TMZ owns the copyright or owns the rights to that video. So dude, we know that you're lying. Just say, you know what, I did leak it. I was in a really bad headspace. It was a very emotional time for me. I made a mistake. Yes, I leaked it because of everything I was going through with my mental health. Okay, we can give you a pass on that. Amber has a lot of big tells where she does dramatic things. Like, if you ever feel useless, just know that there has been a box of tissues and a tissue in Amber's hand the whole time. That tissue, there's no tears, there's no snot, we can all see that. But why is she wiping her nose and wiping her eyes when there are no tears there? Well, this is something called the Pinocchio effect, and researchers have actually found that when you lie, your nose heats up. So she is doing that because it is an uncomfortable feeling in her face as she's lying, which is like, crazy. Maybe instead of studying all of the lines that she studied, she should have studied behavioral analysis. Now let's talk about courtroom strategy and a little bit of psychology in the courtroom. Then I'm gonna go to what happens if she loses. Both of these sides are so polar opposite in my opinion when it comes to courtroom presence. It looks like LeBron James is playing basketball with a middle school student, a junior high kid. And LeBron James is kicking the crap out of this junior high kid because he's freaking LeBron James. You know, like that's what it looks like to me. Johnny Depp's whole team is just killing it, you know? However, on the opposing side, Amber's attorneys, they should be the poster children for what not to do in court. This is how you lose a trial. Do this, act like this. Rule number 1, know the courtroom rules. Every single time that Johnny's lawyers object, it is just standard court operating procedure that you stop. Everyone stops, right? Objection, hearsay. The judge then will make the determination, sustain or overrule. If it's sustained, you have to move on. Instead, Amber's lawyer wants to be argumentative and she wants to say, oh no, or she wants to keep talking, or she wants to change the way that she said the question without any pause or moment from the judge. The judge has to say either sustained or overruled.
That you didn't tell anyone about the abuse until the TRO. Is that true?
Objection, Your Honor, leading.
All right. What if any? All right. Who did you tell about the abuse during the time it was happening?
Objection, Your Honor,
That's
leading
not offered to.
and hearsay.
Sustained.
Your Honor, it's prior consistent statements.
It's leading. It's sustained. Next question.
Okay. Did you produce medical records to the defendants relating to this?
Objection, leading calls.
Right. I'll sustain the objection.
Thank you.
It's leading.
And
Next question.
Your Honor, if we could,
let's,
the witness could be instructed not to answer until I've
All right.
lodged my objection.
Wait for the objection, please.
And what, if anything, did you produce to the plaintiff in connection with your consultation with an ENT specialist relating to your nose?
Objection, leading,
Sustained.
What, I said, what if
foundation,
anything, Your Honor?
hearsay.
What if anything? That is not the cure-all. It's sustained.
As a result of that consultation, what did you learn about your nose?
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
I'm not asking her to tell what they said.
No, I'll sustain the objection.
And do you recall? I'm trying.
Because Amber's lawyers are a little bit argumentative when it comes to objections, it seems as though they don't know the rules of the courtroom. It also seems as though they don't really know what they're doing or they don't really believe in their client. And I'm gonna circle back to that in a second. The judge does not want to argue in front of the jury. So the judge does not want to say it is hearsay based on this. This is what hearsay is. The judge does not want to give those definitions or argue in front of the jury. She wants to move it along. So objection, hearsay. Amber's lawyers should accept it and move on as quickly as possible, but they don't. This lawyer, I don't even know her name. She lingers, she lingers and she stumbles and she even says, I'm trying. Guys, if your lawyer in front of a jury says, I'm trying, you lost. You lost. You're fucked. It's over. You can see Amber's lawyers get flustered. On the other hand, Johnny's do not. They have all their shit together. They know the rules. They know how they're going to build a foundation to prove that Amber's lying. What is very interesting about Ms. Vasquez is she'll take you all the way to prove her point. She'll take you all the way there, right? but she won't outright say, see, aha, you're lying, Amber, there you go. The reason why she does this is because she's a genius and like my literal queen. I might get a tattoo dedicated to her. She wants the jury to feel as though they made up their own mind. This is a very common, very expert level court strategy where if I tell you that this is the conclusion that I've drawn from showing you all of the evidence and here's the pieces and this is what happened, if I tell you the conclusion, it's not going to be as deep-seated in your mind. But Ms. Vasquez gets all the way to there. She gives you all the evidence. She presents it all in front of you. And then she moves on to the next question. So she doesn't tell you the conclusion of this argument. She moves on so that way when the jury is thinking about this, they're going to think, I made up my own mind. It was not made up for me. I saw all the facts. And it's very just expert. It's meticulous. It is on point. Ms. Vasquez has amazing court presence while Amber's lawyers don't. Amber's lawyer objected to his own question. It's just pathetic. So on Amber's side, it's everything you don't do. On Johnny's side, expert level, LeBron James. You can't bully the witness, right? Like you can't take little jabs and like you can't bully her, but I feel like Camille just smacks Amber around and it's so obvious. And if I am ever in trouble for anything, I want her to be my lawyer. She's so good and she's feisty and she's clever and she throws in a couple of little jabs that should have been objected to.
You took this picture as well.
Yes,
You also took this picture, right, Miss Heard?
that's correct. I did.
You seem to really like taking pictures of Mr. Depp while he's sleeping, don't you?
I hated it.
Is there something amusing about kicking a door into your husband's head? You even roll your eyes at one point. Is there something amusing to you about punching your husband in the jaw?
That is not what I was smiling about, and no, I do not think it's amusing.
Okay, I'm sorry. I never even addressed it. He was just very dramatic.
The man you beat up numerous times. Right, Miss Heard?
I could never hurt Johnny.
And I swung at him.
I also think it's very noteworthy how Johnny's legal team treats him and interacts with him and how they interact with the entire courtroom. It seems as though especially Miss Vasquez is very stern, firm, and cold to Amber. But you see that she is very welcoming to fans outside the courtroom. She's very warm and welcoming to Johnny. She even gives him a hug at the end of one of the days. It just seems compassionate and warm. They're respectful and kind to the judge, to the jury, to everyone around them except for Amber. They're very cold to Amber. And then when you see the way that Amber interacts with her legal team, it's very different and I would be super annoyed with them. But once Amber sees how Johnny interacts with his legal team, then she starts to like be a little more kind. Like I think she gave her lawyer a hug after she saw Johnny give his lawyer a hug. Like it's so cringe. I think the way that Johnny's legal team interacts with him is a clear indication of how they feel about him. I think they genuinely feel that he is innocent. And that is a very difficult emotion to fake. If you are representing a client, from what I've seen in my time in the legal system, like, you know, on the other side of it, I think it would be very hard to fake that emotion where you're representing a client that you know is guilty, but you have to represent them to the best of your ability anyway to try to get the win. You don't see that in Johnny's legal team. They seem to be very intuitive, very warm to Johnny, and it just seems like a really close dynamic, whereas on the other side, it doesn't seem that way. I also want to add that when Amber was showing the concealer kit, that she said, obviously this isn't the one I used, because in opening statements, her lawyer said, this is the exact color corrector that she used. Well, Milani, who makes that color corrector, said, bitch, bye, no, we didn't even make it then. So, you know, there's a lot of psychology going on in the clothing that everyone is wearing, and that might not seem significant, but I think it is. Let's start with Amber. Amber spends a lot of time copying Johnny's outfits. This seems odd, right? This seems really strange that Amber would copy Johnny's outfits. This is called mirroring, where she is mirroring, that's a freaking hard word to say, the things that Johnny is wearing. It's something that her attorneys should have told her not to do. The whole world is watching and everyone's picking apart the things that you do. We wanna know what's in your water bottle. We're going to be watching what you're doing, so don't copy Johnny's clothes and don't wear colors that seem like you want to look powerful, authoritative. So blacks and the blues and the grays, I would have told her to wear anything else. If she was going to wear blue, I would tell her to wear a light blue. I would say gray is okay with white, you know, like lighter tones of blue, lighter tones of gray with white mixed in, because white symbolizes innocence, goodness, and purity. So you see Ms. Vasquez come to court in an all-white suit, which is super uncommon. And I know there's not a lot of colors that you can wear to court, so maybe it's not that big of a deal, but when you combine that with Amber's presence and the way that she seems like she's lying about every single thing and her hair being tucked back, if I were Amber's lawyers, I would tell her to wear lighter shades, I'd tell her to have her hair down, I would tell her to look a little bit more, I don't know, fucking innocent. And then Miss Vasquez the other day wears a full white suit. White is seen as innocence and purity and good, while black is seen as the, you know, is powerful, or, you know, it's just very different. The contrast in colors there are crazy. So what might happen if she loses? Well, her $100 million counter suit is shot to shit. That's gone, doesn't matter, never happened because she lost. She would have to pay $50 million. Now that's a problem because this girl doesn't have $50 million. Her estimated net worth is either $8 million or $2.5 million. Well, if we're assuming she got $7 million from JD, maybe the more accurate number is around $2.5 million. That's still not 50. So, whew, girl. She is going to be blacklisted from Hollywood even more so. I mean, people just hate her. The internet is not in her favor. So I think that she's already going to be blacklisted. I did see a headline, I'm not sure if it's accurate when I'm filming this video, that she was removed from Aquaman. I'm not sure. I guess I could look it up right now. So online, I see a lot of contradictions where one article will say, yes, she was removed. Other articles are saying that she was just cut down significantly out of the movie. But she's not gonna work in Hollywood if she loses this. I mean, it's already not looking good. I don't think people are gonna wanna hire her after this because we've all seen it with our own two eyes. So no matter the outcome, girl, bye. Go back to Texas. She could even face jail time for wasting resources, for lying under oath, for perjury, for smuggling her dogs into Australia. I mean, there's just a laundry list of things, right? Now, if Amber loses, that means Johnny won. So on the other hand, Johnny might be cast for more roles. Johnny might want to reopen his case with The Sun. And hopefully Johnny will get a public apology. Why do I think that Johnny should win? Well, because he lost his freaking finger, dude. He lost the tip of his finger. He had multiple surgeries and like all these infections. Number one, clear-cut evidence of Johnny being severely hurt by Amber. Boom. Can we vote? Is it over? Do we need to did we need 24 days of this? The estate manager said, I saw Amber chasing Johnny after I heard Johnny say, you hit me with a can or bottle or whatever. So like, and that happened in the Bahamas. Okay. Person saw a physical abuse that Amber inflicted. We have countless audios and testimonies of Johnny trying to get away from Amber, proving that Amber is the aggressor. Amber is not a trustworthy witness. She's been caught in so many lies. She contradicts herself. She can't remember things. She's argumentative on the stand. Now, this next point I'm not personally a fan of because I don't want to take someone's past into account. I mean, hello, I've been to prison, right? But she does have a past history of domestic violence and Johnny does not. I do want to say, to be fair to both sides, just because you do not have a past history of domestic violence, that does not mean that you are incapable of domestic violence. An abuser is not going to abuse every single person they date. One of my exes was very narcissistic and very mentally and emotionally abusive. But I know people that he's friends with that say, Jess, I've never seen that in him. Well, yeah, because he's not going to do that with everyone he knows. So I know what it feels like to have people think that you're lying about physical and emotional abuse that happened when you're telling the truth the whole time. That sucks. It's horrible. So just to be fair to both, just because Johnny has never been in a physically or emotionally abusive relationship before, it doesn't mean that he's incapable. Just want to be fair and say that. She took a shit in his bed and she admitted to it, and like that is abuse too, like emotional abuse, and like we can laugh about it like, dude, you're always going to be the person that shit in Johnny's bed, like, oh my God, what the hell? But it is clear that she just tried to mess with him and hurt him and upset him. So, you know, thought I'd throw that in there. We can prove that Johnny's career took a direct hit because of that bed, right? Also, Amber has no support. But no matter the outcome, I think this case will be talked about for a really long time because it's important for a lot of different reasons. So let me know in the comment section down below who you think is going to win. This is going to be my final video on it. I think 3 is enough for me personally. I think Johnny has a great chance of winning because there is a jury. It is not just a judge reading the specific law and looking at just the evidence of Johnny's career. I think because there's a jury, Johnny has a much better chance of winning. I'm gonna end today's video here. As always, I love you guys. Stay safe, stay in recovery, whatever that looks like to you. And I'll see you guys in my next one. So when Camille, why do I want to call her Camilla?